Oh, okay, now we're recording. Okay, so today what I wanted to talk to you guys about for reading is reading with fluency and reading with accuracy. So fluency is when you read at kind of a natural pace, not too fast and not too slow. Um, and and you pause at the right places. So for example, you would pause a little bit at the commas. You guys know what a comma is, hopefully. Yeah? Yes? A little bit more at the periods, and then even a little bit more at a new paragraph. So I'm going to show you an example with this article that I chose. It's a 6th grade article, so I wanted to make it a little harder. And plus it's about transportation. It's about transportation in the future, traveling in the future. And I chose it because we're going to talk about the cultural universal of transportation in this afternoon. And also I have something for you to read. We're going to talk about the cultural universal of food this afternoon. So I have something for you to read that's about food after this. Okay, so I want you to listen to me read and see if you notice some things. See if you notice if I make mistakes. Okay, I'm just gonna start. Gary Golden sits in a small cafe in Brooklyn, New York. In front of him, sheets of paper with diagrams litter the table. He rapidly sketches trains, cares, and highways as he explains his ideas. Did anybody notice anything there? Cole.
I noticed that at different places when you said something like sharing his ideas,
Yeah.
I noticed that I noticed when you said sheets of paper, I noticed how you said like it was specific, like with a sheet of paper with diagrams.
Okay. Did anyone notice, by raising your hand so I can hear you, so I can see you, did anyone notice that I didn't pause at the periods or the commas? And I just kind of ran things all together. So I also threw in a word there that didn't make sense. I said cares instead of cars, and the word cares didn't make any sense in there. So that when I make up a word or I use a word that doesn't make sense, my job as a reader is to go back and try to figure out what mistake I made. So I'm going to try it again, and I want you to hear the difference. Gary Golden sits in a small cafe in Brooklyn, New York. Notice I'm pausing here. In front of him, sheets of paper with diagrams litter the table. He rapidly sketches trains, cares, and highways as he explains his ideas. Okay, so the word cares does not fit into that word, does not make sense to me in my brain. So I need to go back and see if I can figure out what that word is supposed to be. He rapidly sketches trains, cars. Oh, that fits. Trains and cars go together. And highways as he explains his ideas. Gary Golden has one passion: transportation. The science of how to move people from one place to fascinates him. He spends his days studying the relationships between cars, subways, and trains. But he's most excited about imagining the way these relationships will change in the next 20 years. Here's where my paragraph ends. I give it a little bit more pause. I'm at the top. You can follow along with me. And I just want you to notice where I might have made a mistake in a word that didn't make sense, or if I'm not pausing. But I want you to try to listen for pausing after commas and periods and paragraphs. Golden is a futurist. Futurists are scientists who analyze the way the world is today and use that information to make predictions about the world. Wait, that didn't make sense. To make predictions, that makes more sense. Predictions about what the world will be like in the future. In this way, they are opposite of historians who try to better understand the present through studying the past. Futurists hope that by making scientific predictions about the future, we can make better decorations today. Anybody notice anything? Chloe?
Um, did you say present or something?
I said predators, and that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm reading about, does it?
No, it's predators are like animals.
Yeah, so I should know in my brain that doesn't make any sense at all. So I need to go back and reread and try to figure out what it was supposed to say. Did anybody notice another mistake? I can't see everybody, so you have to raise your. I think I saw. Colin, was your hand up? Roxy?
Hades' hand is up.
Who is?
Hades.
Katie. Katie, what did you notice?
I noticed that you said also. I also noticed that you said predator too.
Yeah, and that didn't make any sense, did it? Did you notice I said we can make better decorations today?
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with what we're reading?
No.
No. So that's where I have to ask myself, does this make sense? So I need to go back and look at, decisions today. That makes more sense. All right, I'm going to keep reading. I want you to follow along with the words. Some futurists study the environment. Some study soccer. Golden focuses on the study of transportation. He earned his graduate degree in future studies from the University of Houston. Living in Houston for those 2 years changed the way he viewed transportation in the United States. Anybody notice anything that didn't quite fit? Cool.
When you said futurists study the environment, some study human society, you said human, some study soccer.
Oh gosh, that doesn't make any sense at all, does it? So I need to go back and check myself. Some study human society. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. So what, Dahlia?
Um, I noticed that you didn't pause on some of the periods.
Okay, I'm going to try to do better next time. And I'll try to pause at commas and periods. Where are we?
We're on many public.
Okay, thank you. So listen for me. My pauses at the periods. Many public transportation advocates dislike Houston. They argue the city is too sprawling. It can take more than 3 hours to drive from one side of the city to another during rush hour, and that there's not enough buses and subways. However, Houston was a source of inspiration for Golden. How'd I do there? Chloe?
Every single period you skipped.
Did you say Houston at the beginning? Many public transportation advocates or something. This case, I mean, like there's Houston at the first sentence.
Okay. Did you guys notice that I didn't pause at the periods?
No. Oh,
I realized that.
Okay, I'm going to try it again, and I want you to listen for the difference. I'm going to read the next paragraph. Houston is a really interesting place, and their transportation is a fascinating story. It's worth watching. When you think about it, what is the U.S. like? It's more like Houston. So you need to understand how Houston approaches things to understand the country as a whole. New York City is the exception, said Golden in an interview with the New York Times. Did you hear the difference? That I paused at the periods? Okay.
Yes.
So here's what I'd like for you to do. I'm going to give you another one. How do you make your, there we go. I'm going to give you something to read about food. And you're going to have your microphone muted. And then I want you to read it out loud to yourself. You're going to read it out loud with your microphone off. And I want you to really focus on pausing at the periods and commas and making sure everything makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, back up and see if you could figure out the word. So this article is about Vietnamese food, pho. Okay, I think I've got the whole article on the screen right here. So mute your microphone and go ahead and read it out loud.
German.
You're supposed to be reading out loud. No, not out loud to everybody. Wait, your microphone off, but read it out loud to yourself.
Miss Brunell, is that all of the story?
Yep, that's the end.
Okay, I said it all. Yeah, I read it all too.
Okay, just wait till everybody's done.
Same. I did it like
Your microphone muted, please, so people can finish.
I'm done.